Welcome to another little history lesson with RIA. Today I'm talking to Sam Bergman, who's not only a past president of RIA, but also a Marty L. King Award winner. So Sam, I'll ask you to do a quick intro before we get into some of your knowledge and your relationship about the RIA history.
Great. So thanks for inviting me. My name is Sam Bergman. I've been in the restoration industry for over 30 years. And it's certainly that previously known as ASCAR, RIA has definitely been the springboard for my career and for my company's success, and certainly could not have done what we've done and gone through the journey that we have without the RIA. We joined the RIA or ASCAR at the time, probably 30 years ago, and it's been an absolutely amazing experience. I held multiple positions at the RIA, including being on the Restoration Council, chair of the Restoration Council, being on the board on various committees, and then worked my way through the leadership chain, and eventually had the best job ever, which is called Past President.
Past president, I see. Okay, so tell me, as you are someone who knew Marty King, and we want to get the word out on why he is so well represented in our industry, tell us about your relationship with him.
Well, Marty and I had a very unique relationship. We actually started off being counterparts on opposite sides of evaluations and appraisals, and even on being court experts against each other. And we represented different point of views. But the one thing I can certainly say is, at the end of the day, when the arbitration or appraisal or case was over, we were always able to sit down and go have lunch together and have a meal. And it even got to the point, and I'm jumping to the end, but then we can go back to fill in the middle. It even got where, after Marty retired and gave up being the sponsor, the executive sponsor, you would, of the CR program and the consultant work that he did for RIA, we still got together on a regular basis to have lunch and share thoughts and ideas. So it really went from being counterparts to being colleagues to being friends and getting to spend time even in his home.
Oh, that's lovely. You mentioned the CR program. So while we're talking about that concept, were you ever a Marty student? Were you lucky enough to be in his classes?
I was lucky enough to be in his class, and it was, again, initially Marty wanted nothing to do with me being in his class because we were on adverse sides from each other. But as we started to know each other's personalities, and though we represented two different point of views, we became very bipartisan, which is something we don't hear of lately. And we were able to work through and just sit down and go over our differences. He then did welcome me to sit in, participate in one of his classes, and went through and did the exam and the paper, and did become this CR. And I actually believe I was the last person who was nominated by Marty himself to receive the award just before his passing.
Wow, quite an honor. So tell me, why do you think we honor Marty? Like, for the folks who didn't get the chance to know him, why is there an award named after him?
Because he took our crazy industry that we all love, and we're all a bunch of firefighter, cowboy, cowgirl, renegade folks, and he made it into an art and a science. And he put the time and effort into creating that intersection where art meets science, because that's truly what we are. And rather than keep all that knowledge for himself, he decided that he wanted to develop a program where he can mentor others to stand proudly at that intersection of art and science. And that's why Marty made such a difference.
That's so lovely. I haven't heard anyone say it in those words yet. The bridging the gap of art and science and combining those together. So not only the education that comes with it, but knowing how to talk to the people, to see the building as a whole, to see the job as a whole. That's a lovely way to put it. Thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Because, again, the mission of RIA is what's best for our industry.
Mm.
And a lot of us that go to the RIA conferences and conventions and education, it's to make us as an individual better, and it's to make our company better. His focus was truly on making the industry better.
Wonderful. So what year did you win?
What year did I win? Oh my goodness. I would have to go back through my archives and get that to you. I would say it was probably around 6 or 7 years ago, and it was in Orlando, Florida, where we're right down the street from where we look forward to seeing everyone in June.
Where we'll be in June. Okay, and one of the pieces of this award that has always kind of delighted the industry is that the winner is a big secret. And it's kind of, the mystery is revealed as they are described, what their accomplishments have been, what they've done in the industry. So do you remember listening to that and slowly piecing it together that it was you?
I did, because the previous winner presents.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was Mike Goldberg who did my presentation. And with a couple of the comments that he made during his presentation, and a couple of people taped it for me. I don't know if I still have it. If I do, I'll forward it to you.
Yeah.
But there was a couple of the things that Mike said during it that, I spoke to one of his family members, who's Ron, and who's my partner, and I said, and yep, everyone agrees, Sam could be a pain in the butt, and or our recipient could be a pain in the butt. He didn't give the name out yet, and there was a couple things, and he actually sort of mentioned the love hate that the recipient relationship had with Marty, how in the beginning they were opponents with each other through different appraisal and arbitration, but yet became good friends at the end. So as those hints came in towards the end, at that point I knew that it was me or my twin.
And did you start to panic? Were you like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to get up and talk to this room full of people?
It was, yeah, there was a lot of emotion, but it was really based upon that it takes a village, and that if it wasn't for the RIA being welcoming and someone inviting me to join the RIA, then the first convention that I ever went to, God knows how many years ago, and by the way, that one was in Orlando also, that they took me around and introduced me to different people, and introduced me even to different vendors, and invited me to go to meet them at the bar and go out for dinner. It was what made it successful. So what I really want to do is thank the parts that made me the sum. And so that's what I remember very clearly.
Oh, that's wonderful. A few people have mentioned they're like, I have no idea what I said. So I'm curious, what, as a past award winner, do you think there is a responsibility that comes with being in the small group who's won this award, that you all are now tasked with something as past winners?
Well, I think we're all tasked with what Marty's vision was, and that is to continue to look out for the industry, and as art and science continues to develop, it's our job to make sure that we continue to do that, and that we pass on to the next generation and to future generations our industry, and we're not just a fly-by-night with fans and dehumidifiers hanging out, but we are truly educated, dedicated professionals. And I think that's what all the MLK winners need to do.
That's great. I love that. So let's say somebody has this in their career path, someday I want to win that award. What would you suggest they do to start on the path to being acknowledged by the Restoration Industry Association?
Well, I think they need to be passionate about our industry and care about the industry as a whole. They need to get involved. They need to make a difference. They need to give our profession relevance. They need to give RIA relevance. And I think if they're able to accomplish those things and walk down the path that others have paved, but even explore it further and make new paths and new routes, that they will be well on their way to being a future Marty King Award winner.
Relevance. That's a really great word, a really great way to think about it. And I think RIA has really worked themselves into an organization, an industry association that focuses on relevance, right? What are we doing for our members?
Exactly. If we're not relevant, we're dead.
Right, right. That's a great way to think about it. So as an award winner, as you looked back on it, that year that you won, what did it come to mean to you? How did it fall into your heart and your soul, I guess I'd say, to be an award winner? How did it make you feel?
So I think with recognition comes responsibility. Mm. So I actually felt that it's now my obligation to see the success of RIA, the CR program, and our industry as a whole. So while I felt gratified to be recognized for all the work that others put into me, I now recognize that I need to do the same.
Perfect. That was perfect. Anything you want to add in just for the sake of documentation and history? Anything that you feel I didn't ask that you want to cover?
No, I'll certainly try to dig some things up from the archives and see if I can find them. But what I really do is I look forward, after this pandemic year, seeing everyone face to face in June in Orlando, my new hometown.
Look at you. I know you don't even have to travel. You're going to be right there. Right. So after party at your house?
After party at my house. I'm only three miles away from the hotel as the bird flies.
Wonderful. Well, as you said, we look forward to seeing everyone in June in Kissimmee. We can't wait to be together again. Thank you so much for your time, Sam.
Thank you. Have a great day. Thanks.
Okay, let me just see if I have anything handy about past presidents that I can try to tack in really quick. I'm just going to ask something similar on that. What would your advice be to anyone who's considering joining the board or holding a position with the RIA?
So the succession and success of the RIA depends on the volunteer participation. But for every ounce that you give, I promise you'll get a pound back. And so what I ask of every single member of RIA is to please consider getting involved in the committee. Who knows, you then may be asked to chair the committee, become on a council, chair a council, be elected to the board, and work your way up to being president. I know that we have so many folks within our association that have that talent, that have that will, and our future is bright because of you. And please give us your most valuable asset, and that is your time.
Perfect. That is amazing. I really appreciate all the time you gave me today. And let me just hit